Stafford ready in the gun. First down and 10 from the Giants' 13. Has the snap, play fakes, throws off his back foot. Crossing the field left side, it's Cooper Kupp at the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Cooper Kupp. Touchdown, LA! Early in this fourth quarter, Cooper Kupp to the end zone for the second time in Week 6. It's a blowout in the Meadowlands.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Rams Revealed. LA is 5-1, coming back from New York, and they're at SoFi Stadium this weekend to take on the Detroit Lions. Our guest this week is the NFL's leading receiver, Cooper Kupp. Great to have you. Nice to see you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
First of all, how's the family? How's things going on the home front?
They're wonderful. Having a great time, enjoying the season, enjoying ball.
2 boys, right?
2 boys.
And what are they into these days?
Oh, yeah, man, everything. My oldest is just getting into watching the Rams play. Anytime he sees football and he's asking, he's like, hey, Daddy, where are you? I'm like, I'm on the couch with you right now. But he's enjoying it. He's having a great time, and it's a lot of fun right now.
Dynamic going through a season with 2 of them is different than it has been in years past, I bet, right?
It is. Bath time's a big deal when you get home. So you get done with your day of work, get home, and get the boys fed, and get 2 of them wrangled up, get them washed, and get them down. So it's always a fun little time. We try to make the most of it. Try to enjoy those times. It's like, this could be a very, grueling task trying to get these boys to eat their food and go to bed.
Right.
But we try to take an approach like we get to enjoy this time as much as we can.
Yeah, spouses tend to be each other's best coaches in that regard. I'm living that life as well. To your life on the football field, which is off to a great start. Depending on how you slice it, it is the best receiving start in NFL history through 6 games. We'll get to that in a moment. But I'm curious from your standpoint, do you feel like you've taken your game to the next level? And if so, how?
I think every year I've played this game, I've hoped to take things, step forward, being able to transcend what I did the year before. Maybe not statistically, but just in terms of how I approach my game. When I watch myself on film from one year to the next, I want to see improvement. I want to see weaknesses become strengths and strengths become, even stronger. So I do think I've taken a step. I think I've, what you do in the off season, I think I've, hopefully that's, being reflected. But we also have some really good football players from playing around, some guys doing some really good stuff right now, and all that stuff comes together. As a receiver, you're accountable for the 10 guys that are playing on that field with you. They are such a huge part of anything that you get done as a football player, as a receiver. So really a testament to the guys that I have around me.
I'm going to follow up on that point you just made in just a second. But first, did it take more physically this offseason to get to where you are now, given where things ended last January?
Yeah, there was definitely. Anytime you go into an off season and I always give myself a month to just decompress, reflect on the season, see kind of make a game plan for what I want to do moving forward. But coming off of the knee thing last year, it did take a little bit longer where I wasn't really able to get in and do the things I wanted to right away. So I was a little bit behind the ball. I felt like a little bit getting into it, but you really have enough time to really get in and do the things you want to do. So felt good about it.
I said this before to our audience. I just try to speak it into existence. I never want to see another Rams season end with Cooper Kupp on the sideline, be it the NFC Championship year or last year. Let's see where things go when you're dressed and ready to play.
I agree with that.
This is going to embarrass you a little bit, but my 2 favorite nuggets coming out of Week 6, humor me if you don't mind. I'm sure you don't care about these, but NFL players with 600-plus receiving yards and 7 touchdowns after Week 6. You and Randy Moss in 2007. Most touchdown receptions in the first 60 games of a Rams career. Cooper Kupp, 31, Hall of Famer Isaac Bruce, 29. That get your attention at all?
Just very... just to have those names, thrown around, and that's a pretty incredible thing. 2 football players that I've got so much respect for what they've done in their careers consistently over and over and over again, being at just the top of this league in terms of their production. So very humbled to have my name put in there with those guys, and a great challenge to continue to push, continue to be consistent, and be there for this team.
I don't think they gave out any awards or records after 6 weeks that I'm aware of. So just putting that out there. Yep. Do you have a favorite play this season, though?
Favorite play of the season? Oh man, I don't know if anything. You know what? Actually, the one that does come to mind was that first game, Van Jefferson's deep pass. I think just the energy of getting into SoFi, a Sunday night game, and being able to go and have just such an explosive play right off the bat, where it just felt like here we go, we're getting this season going. That was a pretty special thing. So I'm say that's the first thing that comes to mind is that one.
And that was the most Cooper Kupp answer ever. I didn't think I had to specify what was your favorite play that you made this season, but I won't follow up to put you on the spot even more. Instead, I'll read to you with this. My favorite play of yours this season was Thursday Night Football in Seattle, the block you put on Jamal Adams to get Darrell Henderson into the red zone with a 29-yard carry. You scored on the next play with Tyler Higbee. Maybe I'll just use that as a jumping off point for, aside from receiving and some of these records that you're setting, how much pride and how much diligence does it take to be as good as you are in the other phases of being a Rams receiver?
Oh, I think it's something we pride ourselves on in our room. That's something that Coach Yarbs is harps on us about. It's something that we rely on as a team. As receivers, you got to be a part of the blocking surface. You got to be a part of this run game and getting things going there. So, it does take the attention to detail to understand, now a little bit of a new language of what the offensive line is talking about when you're in those situations, and understanding who the targets are and what your responsibilities are coming off of that as well. So it is great. It's really, when you really step into it, it is like, it can be like putting your kids to like trying to get them to eat, trying to get them to bed.
Okay, spell this out for me. I like where you're going.
So you get home from practice, you're exhausted, you're tired. You gotta put your kids to get them the food. You gotta get them washed. You gotta try to keep them in bed, get them to go to sleep. That can be a grueling task, or it can be something you really enjoy. Enjoy that opportunity to be with your kids. It's very limited during the season. Blocking as a receiver can also be a very grueling thing, but the opportunity to learn and be a part of things with the offensive line, with the tight ends, be able to communicate with each other, being able to work off of each other. If you put the time in, you really get to be a part of that's what they do. That's what those guys, they love that stuff, and be able to be a part of that and love it with them. That's a pretty cool thing. And then on the plus side, you run the ball well, you get some great play actions off of it, some good stuff coming back your way as well. So, that's just something for us as receivers. We love the challenge of being a part of the run game.
You embody that. So does Robert Woods. You've spoken about this seemingly after every great game that you've had, how much you love and respect him. And it's true of the work that Deshaun and Van and Higgs are doing to create these channels for you as well. But Robert specifically, I love it if you just take a moment and can speak to what he's done to allow you and this offense to have the start that you have.
Yeah, well, I think, he's, in my opinion, he's probably he is the most complete receiver in the league, I think. What he can do in terms of the top shelf stuff, what he does in the intermediate game, what he does underneath, being able to get open, his ability to separate versus press, ability to eat up grass versus off coverage. I don't think there's anyone in the league that you can ask to do all the things he does in the pass game, and also understand all the stuff he has to do in the run game. He's used a lot of times as a fullback or ISOing up on safeties rolling down into the box. He's sifting off of edges, being able to take shots off of our running backs, and he plays with an energy still, snap in, snap out. Whether it's the first snap, the 70th snap, whatever it is, he's playing with the energy to make sure he's running to the ball. Any opportunity to play for his guys, I just think. I think the world of him and how he plays the game. So, it's been an incredible thing for me coming in 5 years, being able to watch him do that over the course of this. He's just been a great example for me.
Looking ahead to Detroit, a couple of topics that I think will be prevailing themes this week for you and your offense. One would be starting faster. The second would be having more favorable down and distance on third down. I think you called the third down efficiency the last 2 weeks atrocious. You can take those in any order you like, or maybe address them together. What's it going to take to get this offense from excellent to elite?
Yeah, it's just execution. The margin for error in this league is razor thin. You have to be able to execute play in and play out. And little mistakes can cause a big problem for you. You're second and 6. You feel like you're in a good spot. You don't execute. Maybe we're running the ball and you take a 2-yard loss. Your 3rd and 8 call is different than your 3rd and 4 call. Just putting ourselves in positions to be able to execute. And even if we do get in those 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and longs, just being better about being on our P's and Q's and understanding what we're trying to attack. And we just have to be better across the board, and we will. We've got the right guys. Everyone here. I mean, we're in a pretty. It's a pretty incredible thing to come in this building today to have the ability to feel like there's more that we can push from, what we can be better, and have that challenge, and everyone having that feeling like we can be better here. We can do more. We can be more precise. We can execute better. Coming off a game that looks like was a really good win. So it's a pretty cool thing for us to be able to feel this way, but we got to just continue to push through that.
So that's not for show. You and Sean McVay go to the microphone in the Meadowlands, and you're upset about winning by 25 and resting some starters, but you come back here on Monday, and that was the through line?
Yeah, I think that is. I mean, I guess sometimes after a game you might have the emotional response of what that was, and you watch the film, but I think that's the prevailing feeling coming in here today, and we're going to make those adjustments. We've been able to meet and go through that stuff, and now moving forward we get to make it come to life.
Sure. One of maybe the biggest reasons why we're so thankful that you were willing to sit down with us today is because it is Lions Week, and your friendship with Jared Goff and potential perspective on his return to LA is one that I'm very glad to tap into. First of all, what are you feeling at the outset of this week?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's another opportunity, another team coming into SoFi. We're at the end of the day just excited about the opportunity to go out there and play our game, be able to make the adjustments that we've talked about here, and be able to bring those to life coming up on Sunday. And I mean, all the outside noise is really just that. I mean, there's a lot of underlying stories and all this different stuff, but when you step on the field, it's football, and you gotta be able to execute. You gotta be able to play your game. I think the Lions have done their record is a very different story than what they've done. When you watch the film, you watch the close games they've been in, how hard those guys play. It's going to be a great challenge for us. I mean, as any team is in the NFL, you've got such good football players across this league. We've got to be on our stuff, and excited about the opportunity to move forward and be able to game plan these guys and put a good week of practice together.
So I'm interpreting your answer, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so clarify, is that your friendship with Jared transcends one Sunday at SoFi Stadium, right? Whether he's here or he's playing the Cincinnati Bengals, you wish him well. Yeah. He just happens to be on the opposing sideline this week.
No, surely. And, I do. I'm always going to be rooting for Jared. He was instrumental for me coming in here. He was the first guy that really took me under his wing when I got drafted. My family, we lived at his house when we first got drafted, and very thankful for him and the time that we've had together, for his friendship. At the same time, I'm not rooting for him on Sunday. Right. I mean, we have anyone that steps into SoFi is, we want to be able to dominate that game. So, it obviously is a friendship that's beyond football, but, it will be fun to see him.
It has pained me, I don't know if you share this too, to see the rough start they've been off to and the way they've lost some of those games. But I got thinking this week, like Jared's been there before, right? He did it at Cal. He did it here in Los Angeles. Is he still the right guy for that moment, albeit not this Sunday, to help the Lions get to where they're trying to go?
Yeah, I love Jared. I know what he's about, and the throws that he can make, what he can do as a quarterback. So, I've got all the faith in the world that Jared's going to be able to do his thing there.
And not just him, but Brock too, Darryl Hodge, maybe Nickel Roby-Coleman, Aubrey Pleasant. It's going to be a little bit of a reunion pregame before the lights really come on and you guys kick it off. Cooper, last thing, we finished with a closing segment we call 3 and Out. I have 3 final questions for you. They tend to be on the lighter side. Don't feel like you have to get them right, but if you do, and I'm pretty sure I'll accept your answers, I make a donation to the LA Rams Foundation on your behalf, okay? So let's finish with 3 and Out. First question, over under here, 70 points, over under 70 points. How many did the Eastern Washington Eagles score against Idaho in last week's victory?
I think it was an over.
It was an over, 71-21 in Cheney. They improved to 7-0. Program record 837 yards of total offense. Their quarterback passed for 608 scores. Question number 2. Are you aware of the concept of scoreagami? Have you heard of scoreagami?
Scoreagami. I have not heard a score.
Good. It gives me a chance to introduce it then. It's when the final score of a game had never been recorded in NFL history.
Okay.
And so your Rams' 38-11 victory was the 1,067th unique score
Really?
in pro football history.
Oh, very interesting.
And believe it or not, the Bengals win had only been recorded once prior.
Interesting.
So there you have it. Last thing, one of the coolest quotes of the summer for me, Jalen Ramsey said, Hunter Renfrow has some Cooper Kupp in him. I thought that was awesome. The Ocho route, though, against the Bucs. I think it's time to kind of set the record straight. Who's inspiring who here between you and Hunter Renfrow?
Okay, but the Ocho came up. The Ocho came up when Double D started running his mouth during some player run
Dante
practices.
Dion.
That's Dante Dion had a great game this last week. He started running his mouth. The defense is feeling good. We're down in the red zone. They've seen our plays over and over again. I know what he's going to do as soon as I start to run this little route we've got. And I just told, this is back a few years ago, I told Jared, hey, I'm going to just call that play, but I'm just going to, instead of coming back in, I'm just going to keep it back out. And Double D obviously bid on it, hooping and hollering. The offense is pumped. Comes up, story gets back to Sean, and he's like, that's a good idea. We have it in our offense. We never really ran it, but I was pumped to see that in the on the play sheet for the Bucs game, and we made it come to life. So I'm not saying who did who first. I don't know when Renfrow started doing his stuff,
Parallel
and
tracks,
all the
though.
different stuff, but. Yeah. It was an isolated incident of just, being able to play off of something we've done before.
You and Matthew did it so well. Cooper Kupp, thank you. Appreciate your time. It's always great catching up with you. How far are we going to take this beard?
We're going to let the beard go all year.
Yeah?
I'll keep it lined up. But I'm going to keep things somewhat nicely cut, but I'm letting it go.
Best to you, your family, and your team as you look to continue this success at SoFi Stadium on Sunday against the Detroit Lions. I'm JB Long, and this is Rams Revealed.